Hey guys!
Hi guys!
Alright, so something that a lot of people have asked us about. Do you guys collect these? Have you seen these in the store?
What do you think?
We've seen them in the Loot Crate, and what we're talking about is the Jada Toys metal die-cast figures. I know you've seen them all around stores. They've got Power Rangers, we've seen X-Men, we've seen Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, we got those. But we've got sent, actually, 3 different lines of these that we're going to show you guys. First one is X-Men. Got a lot of X-Men ones that look really, really great. We also got the Wonder Woman movie line as well as Street Fighter. So a lot of cool things. And some of these actually have a lot different design than when they originally came out, which makes me a fan, actually. So let's start off with the X-Men. Now, like any of these new collectible figures that are out now, these are die-cast, these are metal, so if you guys grew up in the early 90s or late 80s, they had a lot of metal toys, the little metal toys. Just think of that, but think of them a little bit bigger and a lot heavier. That's what these are.
These are very heavy.
And they also have a corresponding number on them, so you can track your collection, too. So if you collect Pops, you know how that works. Where this one is actually a little different than Funko Pops, because Funko Pops just throw random numbers, where these sort of try to lock down a different number for each individual one, which is a good thing. But first off, let's show you Magneto. I really like the color of that. That is a very bright, nice looking red.
I was gonna say, it's very vibrant, it's very shiny, it looks great.
Yeah. Something about Magneto and a metal figure that really sort of makes sense, right? So I'm a big fan of this one, and I...
that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I had a little metal figure just like this when I was a kid, so I'm really just happy to see these, and I gotta admit the paint jobs on these are done really well.
Now up next, on the back of this one, this is classic Storm, but on the back of her box, she actually has a few different characters than what Mark had on Magneto, so let me go over this really fast. We have Captain Marvel, Elektra, She-Hulk, Lady Deadpool, Mystique, Psylocke, and Storm. So it's like we have the ladies on this one.
Yeah, maybe tell us and mixing it up a little bit.
Maybe it is. But Storm is really cool. I love the pose that she's in. Her color looks great. I love her hair and those white eyes. Come on now. Those are so intimidating.
Always been a fan of Storm's black suit. I gotta admit I like the white one a little better just from the classic animation show and comics, but the black one's really nice. I like that. That's super nice. I like the white eyes too. It kind of gives her that creepy Storm look.
Yeah, and then that red jewel on her chest just brings it all together.
Up next, the main man, Wolverine, one of my favorite superheroes. I hate to always call him a superhero because he doesn't really seem like a superhero. He's just a dude. He's got metal bones and he's like, I hope everybody dies before I do.
Me alone.
But I just love his story, just how he's so disgruntled and just, you know, he's one of those superheroes that hates being a superhero, which is always fun. But yeah, this one is almost identical to the one I had when I was a kid that was really small. I just really, really like it. And again, it sort of makes sense with these X-Men line where they're metal figures, they're die-cast, and being Wolverine with his bones. Now we got one similar to this. This is much better, but the ones that came in the Loot Crate where we got Old Man Logan. This is what you know and love about classic Wolverine.
Absolutely. He's in his classic outfit and he has that grimace on there like, ugh.
It's weird that so many people like the brown and gold Wolverine. I've never liked that compared to the blue and yellow. It's all about the blue and yellow to me.
Up next we have Psylocke, and she is pretty awesome. I love her bright purple hair, her blue lips, the blue outfit. Everything about her is just vibrant and stands out.
Yeah, I really do like the purple and blues they've used. The purple! The purple!
The purple! Ah!
Bringing out purple, man. You know, you heard of purple. Blue and purple make purple.
Exactly.
And that's what we have on that one.
And her eyes are even outlined in the blue, and so are her eyebrows. So it's just a really nice touch.
That's a really pretty sculpt on her face.
It's very pretty.
Not always easy to do on some of these figures. And that one actually looks nice.
Especially with it being made out of metal. She just has such a feminine look to her, and it's really a nice touch.
Yeah, sometimes when you have a hard surface, it's hard. It's sort of hard to get that soft look when you paint it. And they've found something out to do it, so it looks pretty good. Up next, we have one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite X-Men from the animation, Jubilee. Jubilee is always cool, and also a very underdeveloped character. Now, what I mean by that, I mean toys. Not a lot of people do toys of her. They sort of forget her. They leave her in the corner like, oh yeah, Jubilee, we remember her. No. Jubilee was pretty awesome. I always loved her yellow coat. Like her yellow jacket was awesome. And this one is really kind of, you can see Jubilee in it. I just really like this one. The pinks, the purples, the yellows, the blues.
Her eyes are very feminine, very pretty. Everything about her is beautiful as well.
The hip dip.
The hip dip.
The hip dip.
The hip dip.
It's all about that hip dip.
And finally, for the X-Men line, we have Mystique. Now, she looks super intense. I mean, look at her face. She's just so angry.
A fan favorite.
Absolutely.
A lot of people love Mystique or Raven.
And I'm so glad that they included the skulls around her waist. That's really a good detail. Her shoulders are very broad though.
Yeah, and she's ready to whoop somebody.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just she's like in battle pose or what.
She's ready to go, man. These are all die cast, but they do use a few plastic parts because you can't always do metal, obviously, for some of the small parts like the weapons. Where you can see sort of in that one, her dress piece or whatever seems to be plastic. Yeah. Some of these have a little bit of plastic in them, but they still have that overall metal look to them. Let's get the next one. Let's go with Street Fighter. Yeah. Another favorite of mine. All right, so let's kick it off with Street Fighter with the evil dictator M. Bison. This one is just so cool. This one really reminds me of Street Fighter when I look at it. You could really make kind of a cool backdrop with these.
You really could.
Like with the shelf, you could sort of build like a little square shelf and put them all down there and then do like a Street Fighter backdrop on it. Like, that'd be really, really cool. Fight. I don't know why, it just reminds me of that. Because these are sculpted in a way that they don't really mimic any of these figures. Have you seen some of the older ones, the first metal diecast ones that came out? They were all sort of normal, had just kind of a, not a great face.
Right.
Where you can really see where they're improving, especially with the Street Fighter line, I'd say. But yeah, M. Bison, love it, love the outfit, love the bright red. The color, the paint they're using on these, they seem to be really high quality.
Very vibrant, and I like the pose he's in as well. I mean, I know I've said that several times, but every single time the pose is always so great. Up next is Chun-Li, and I really like the design of her. She looks very intense while she's looking very petite and pretty as well.
Yeah.
So this one's fun. I love how she has those big giant spiked bracelets, but then she also has these cute little ribbons in her hair.
Yeah.
So she's fun. I like her.
Again, the paint apps on these, they're really shining on this one. They're shiny. They seem, they just seem like good quality paint. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say when reviewing toys. But that kind of sticks out to me when I look at things like this.
When you're looking at something and you're looking at a new line, you always go for paint jobs because you're wanting to see the kind of quality you're going to get, and every single one has had a great paint job.
Yeah, I mean, especially with us, this is the first time we've brought these on the channel, I believe. So to talk about them, I do want to just say that the paint apps are good. These are $10, so they're just as much as any other collectible out right now, basically. Kid Robot, Funko Pop, anything like that. So know that you seem to be getting a good paint job on these. Up next, we have Guile, of course, the former U.S. Navy badass.
That's right.
I love this man.
I love
his hair.
Flat top.
Yeah, the flat top man. Of course, you know him. You know the flat top.
It's just like, bring it.
Who did you play with in Street Fighter whenever you played?
Anybody I could pick because I always had last pick from my cousins, so I know
when we played, you always played with Blanca. You just like the big green dude, basically. But,
pretty much anybody who looked like they could beat everyone else up.
Yeah, I like Blanca. He was cool. But Guile was always sort of a personal favorite of mine. I don't know why. He just always was. And I really like the pose of this one, too, where he looks sort of brooding. Like a boxer you see at the bar in the corner. He's just, don't fight that dude. There's something wrong with him. Just look at him, but kind of
back off.
Yeah, just
don't look
keep
too
your
long.
distance. Now this one does have his American flag tattoos on his arms, which is a really nice touch. And of course, they've also sculpted his dog tag in there. And really, the camouflage pants look really well done too.
And finally, everybody's favorite go-to character, Ryu. Now he looks awesome. His arms are huge compared to his little tiny legs.
He actually seems like he might have the biggest arms out of all these.
Yeah, I think so. And he doesn't really have much of a neck, but I guess that makes sense because I don't really remember that.
I don't think any of them have necks. I think it sort of makes them cool, at least the guys, because they're sort of beefy. You know,
definitely.
That's what you're going on with the designs here.
And I like how he has his torn karate uniform along with his black belt, along with the writing insignia on it.
His gi.
Yeah, his gi. My bad. I'm sorry. But he also has his boxing gloves and his super intense eyebrows. So this one's kind of a fun one as well.
Yeah, I like him. It's a shame there's only 4 of them because I could really see this one expanding, which I'm sure it will. I mean, anytime they don't have a Blanca, you know they're coming out with one eventually. All right, and finally, to show off some of these, we got the Wonder Woman movie line, of course, one of our favorite movies we've seen in a long time as far as superheroes go. You know, you're going to have a lot of these things out for sale now, and it's only going to get bigger and more popular because of how popular Wonder Woman was. It's a fan favorite at this point. So there's a lot of things to look at out there, and now we're going to take a look at these metal die-cast figures. One thing before we look at them, I do want to say, really, really hard for people, for companies, to do face sculpts on women.
Yes, definitely, because the features are so fine and usually pretty small, and these ones they actually did pretty well on.
That's going to be the thing I say they've done really well. So I'm going to start off with the only guy in the group, basically, Steve Trevor. This one I like because he has that suit that I really like in the show, in the movie, where he had sort of the lamb's wool leather jacket. It's very cartoony, you know, where they have these big, broad shoulders and these skinny legs. Batman the Animated Series, that's like the go-to. Anytime you see Bruce Timm on an animation, that's what you see. Triangle shoulders down to a point. Yeah, and that's what they do here, which is kind of why I like them. They do look like sort of an animation figure.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can see on this one all the different layers that they actually had to probably glue into it. The hair is a different section, the jacket, the gloves.
The undershirt.
Yeah, a whole lot of layering going on with these.
Yeah. Up next we have Wonder Woman when we first saw her in her Themyscira battle armor. Now this one is really cool because her chest piece is really shiny. She has her shield, she has her blade, everything.
God killer.
Well, that's not the God killer, not yet.
Not
She's
yet.
still in training.
That's true, that's true. That's just some sword.
She doesn't have it yet. This is just some random sword she picked up somewhere. But she also has her hair in the braid, which is really pretty. And I think that this is such a beautiful face sculpt. And I like how they added the flip of the eyelashes.
That's not that far from Gal Gadot's face.
No, it's really not. I was going to say that.
That's not that far. Although I do need to say one thing. Them are some big boobs.
Yeah, they're a little big.
Compared to her regular Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Go ahead and grab it.
So, her regular Wonder Woman, now her arm actually fell off in ours, but it just sticks back up. It's metal. It's not a big deal. But the breastplate is a lot smaller on this one than that one.
Yeah, she's much more busty in this.
Yeah.
Maybe... I don't really know. I don't have an excuse for
that,
guys.
I don't know what's up with that one. But again, the face is done really well. I love how her hair is getting blown to the side, which is a great touch. Now she has her God Killer sword.
Right. Although I think they're the same exact sword.
Are they the same sword?
I think so.
Yeah, same sword. The shield is the same too.
But we all know from the movie.
But yeah, I'm just so shocked that the face was done so well.
I am too. I mean, her face is perfect.
Yeah.
One of my favorite characters, one I felt like didn't get enough screen time, was Queen Hippolyta. Now, I'm really digging this. She feels much heavier than anyone else in the line.
That jacket.
And it's probably because of that big puffy jacket. I love that she has her blade. I love the stance that she's in. And her headdress is really beautiful. I do have one kind of a qualm with this one. I feel like the hair, the way that it's positioned on her jacket, it doesn't really feel like it's a separate piece. Yeah.
It also looks sort of watery and not sculpted like what hair would do.
Right. Yeah. Hair should flow, and I feel like that's kind of spaghetti-y.
Now, lastly, we have General Antiope. I don't even know how to say her name. Antiope?
And we're going to call her
We're going to call her...
General Ant. Diana's aunt.
Or we'll just call her Robin Wright, because you know her from House of Cards and a lot of other stuff. But yeah, this one's really neat too. She was one of my favorite people in the movie, I should say.
Sure.
Not just as the actress, because I really do like her as an actress, but also she had kind of a cool part, and apparently she's going to be in Justice League too somehow.
I know!
Probably a flashback, I don't know. So this one, she has her battle armor with blue, and she has her little dagger, she has her sword and her shield like all of them. She has a kind of a smirk, like a mouth smirk on her as well, and then the headdress, and then her hair is actually done really well. I would say that is probably the best thing on this one, is that hair. That's really cool.
I definitely have to agree. I wish that they would have added more of the battle scars that she had. I know a lot of that's probably covered up with her armor and her sleeves and stuff like that, but I feel like that's a little touch that could have been added that would have just...
Put it over the edge.
Up a little bit, yeah.
Alrighty, so that was a look at the Jada Toys metal die-cast figures that are in stores everywhere basically right now. You'll see them all over the place. Target, Hot Topic, pretty much everywhere that you buy toys. Toys R Us, Walmart, they're all over the place at this point. $10 is what they'll run you, so they're not too bad if you want to get into them. I'm impressed.
I am too. I love how heavy these are. There's so much detail in such a little character.
Yeah,
so I really like these, right.
About the same size as a Pop. When they originally came out, like 2 years ago or something like that, I can't say that I liked them that much.
Yeah, we looked at them and we were kind of like, maybe in a couple years.
But they've seemed to improve, because a lot of the faces are looking really well done.
Right.
And they have a little more of a pose. They were all sort of generic.
Yeah, they had that normal, just static
just
pose.
Like this, yeah. Where now they actually have poses, so, you know, props on that. These things are actually looking really good. I would say my favorite of these three lines would be the Street Fighter, though.
Really?
Just from the looks of it. Not necessarily line. X-Men would be my favorite line.
Yeah, I was going to say...
look.
I think the X-Men line looks a little bit better. I mean, the poses of Street Fighter are really nice and cool, but I just think that the detail in the X-Men line is so much better.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, X-Men's awesome. X-Men's always awesome. Alrighty, guys, so if you want to take a look at these, we'll put a link down below along with some information. Thank you again, Jada Toys, for sending these, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.